is delicious. All right, take a look at that. Boom, and we're on. And we're gonna fire this thing up. Something old school from 1995. Clutch, my friends. Clutch is fantastic. If you don't know them, check them out. If you already know them and you like them, you're good to go. You don't need any friendly reminders from me, do you? No, you don't. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to scope out some charts. We're going to take a look at some things. We're going to rifle through, you know, a couple of different things that we see. What may be happening in the world tonight, this morning, whatever time zone you're in. I'm on a couple different platforms here, so if I'm lucky enough to actually have anybody join me, you know, I'll try to sift through between YouTube, Twitter. No, sorry. Let me start over. YouTube, Twitch, and Stream.me. So, if you're on one of those platforms and you are watching, then you know, hopefully I'll see the chat. I'm gonna try to keep an eye on that the best I can. No promises, but I will try. All right. So just so you know, I'm not ignoring you. If you do say something, I just might not see it right away. All right. Give me a little time there. Anyway, let's fire this thing up because this is more a stream of conscious anyway. I figure I'm going to go through these charts regardless, and I might as well have you guys with me. And if there's something I could teach you in the process, then all the better. That's how I look at it. And if not, then hey man, sorry, I don't mean to waste anyone's time. So here we go. First things first, let's take a look at Bitcoin. This is XBT, which is how Mex uses Bitcoin. This is on BitMEX. This is on the hourly chart. So what we're looking at here, after this big drop down, right? This is the second of two big dumps. We had a little bit of a flag here. All right, let's set up. Not much, tiny little bit. All right, that was the first dump. Now second dump, boom, and this is where we've been for the last 2 days or so, just in this range. So sort of have a range here, 36.47 down to 36.02. You can kind of see that visually, just how the range has acted. We came up, you know, a small little micro trend up, and then drop down, and then from here we're making lower lows minus this wick right here, which throws everything off. So if we were to throw a trend on, say from this lower low, you know, we'd have to go, let's capture that body right there. So we'll go there, lower low. You're gonna have to at some point make a decision whether you're gonna use that wick or not use that wick. These wicks here, we drew this out on a different chart, and these wicks here drew that out, and it gave us a pretty large broadening wedge. And we just weren't respecting it at all as far as price was concerned for this type of price action, for this range. You know, we were smacking our heads on it as far as discovery goes, and stop hunts, but that's sort of about it. Never really went any further than that. So I'm okay with this trend right here. This was just an idea, because at that point we were making higher highs, higher lows. So if we were to break down out of here, we're going to trade that going down. Right, so that's the current trade that we're in, down to here. Now, you know, you can imagine your next stop hunt if you do throw this back on here. All right, look how well that was respected. If you did throw that on here, now how far away we've gotten from that. If you're to hit that, you know, in this next candle, you're talking 37.59. Now we've seen, don't get me wrong, we've seen candles like that. All right, so you know, we're looking at one right here. So it's not out of the realm of possibility, but certainly we're keeping that in the back of our head. But that's kind of as far as that idea is going right now. That could change if something changes. If we see like a big giant volume spike or something happening, and we take a closer look, and then we adjust our trade from there. That's how that works. All right, so that's with that, and then we might as well, just because we put the one up, might as well put the other one up, and we're going wick down to wick. Okay. Now we're avoiding this wick here because that was the other trend we drew, and that was giving us the higher lows. Okay, well, I was just talking about this broadening wedge, and that's just why I wanted to show that for you. But the range is right here, right? We all know that. Okay, the range is right here. It's about a $45 range, 36.02, 36.47. So, you know, it's hitting about 45 bucks, plus or minus. You can see you could have used it a few times down at the bottom to the top. You would have missed it down here. You would have gotten the top again here. Went short, you would have gotten the bottom. At that point, you would have went long. You would have captured that top. Right here, you would have went short. Grabbed it down. Here, you would exit the trade. You would have went long. Stopped out here. And then sideways, you would have been short here. And you went long first before short. So that would have been a losing trade there. And then here you'd be long right here to make it back up to this level again. And it sort of only went halfway for now and is trending down, but we got a little bullish activity right here. So we'll see how that hourly paints out, at least for the interim. So that's ooh, excuse me. So that's what we got right now. Let's switch charts. Let's see what we have in store for us. POA. All right, so let's throw this on the daily. And let's see what we're looking at here. So POA is really not doing anything. We can see we put ourselves a fib on here from that last impulse, that last move, and we have been just riding that low ever since. In fact, we actually have to change this fib now because we made a lower low. So wow, is that the low or is that the low? That looks like the low. Alright, so you throw that fib on there for ideas going forward. I wanted to word that properly, but so if I were to pull a fib left to right, bottom to top, I'm measuring the price action down on the next impulse move down. If I'm measuring from top to bottom, right, then I'm measuring the retracement back up. This is what I'm looking for. But you can see that generally speaking, that move will be respected by these fibs. And you can see this area right here in between the 618 and the 786 is well respected on the way down. We fell down, we found support on the 5, we blasted right through the 382. We found a little bit of support here in between 382 and the 236, so that's a little strange. Blasted through to 236 and then flipped it and turned it into resistance. And then ever since then we've been down, and now we're on our zero line now. Of course, you're always going to have your 1 and you're always going to have your 0 respected, because that's where you're drawing your fib from. It's all these other levels inside of here. So what you're looking for is on the way up. These are going to be key areas for resistance, 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 and then you have an idea of where price could go just based off fibs on the 127, the 1414, and the 1618. Right, so, you know, of course we would be pulling historical horizontal support resistance as well, like this high right here, you know, and if it doesn't line up with a fib from this retracement impulse, then we would throw a line in there. We don't need it now, just because, you know, we still haven't found bottom yet. We haven't even retraced up to a 236. So I'm not worried about making the chart all disgusting with a whole bunch of levels we don't necessarily need. It's certainly if we're not trading them anytime soon. This level we can put in there because this will at least be resistance soon, and has been. Actually, we haven't been able to get over that line in current trading, right? So we're looking for a bottom, and we haven't found it yet. Don't know if this is the bottom. Could just continue to go lower, and if that's the case, then you would have to move this move the fib around and try to get an idea of, you know, what you're looking at. For historical price data, I don't think Poe is going to have it. No, yeah, because Poe got listed up high and just dumped. This is listing. You'll see that in a lot of crypto. They list real high, right, and it's just selling all the way down until they find a level that everyone can agree on. It had a pretty good run from March to May of 2018, and then from there it tanked. So that's Poa, and not much to look at here. There's no trades to make on this one, not as far as I could see. I might as well throw that disclaimer out there that just for entertainment purposes only. Yada yada yada. This is not financial advice. Trading is risky. You know, all those things. All right. So don't go long in Poa expecting to you know, get anywhere near these levels. All right. So yeah, as long as we're good with that. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. We got a few things going on here all at the same time. We'll just add this in here, and we're going to pull up that next chart, and we're going to see what that is. What is that? It's Bitcoin. All right, so let's find another Bitcoin. Okay, another Bitcoin. All right, Ethereum. Okay, we'll take a look at Ethereum. Let's see. Throw this in here. There we go. All right. Very good. Okay, sorry. I know. I'm like preoccupied here. That's not good. So what are we looking at? This is Ethereum on the swap contract. All right, this is off BitMEX. You know, I kind of rather, if we're gonna do Ethereum, I'd rather look at Coinbase or something. So let's skip that for now. Let's take a look at Factom. All right, so Factom on the daily. See, we already got some fibs up here, some levels of interest. All right, overall trading on Factom. Let's see, daily chart. Yeah, okay. So we got a pretty big retracement here. You had your top over here in June. So let's zoom in a little bit here. This was a huge move that was going on for quite a while. That was over in November. Now we could see, you know, even though you got these spikes in here, you can see volume-wise, you know, this is a consistent down here, basically almost back to nothing. So a little bit of a shame because it did have a pretty nice run, and now you know, now you're sitting in not in a great spot. Basically, at these highs over here is sort of where you found resistance. So you can mark these. Let's say the high up over in this zone in that ballpark. We got some resistance there, but let's take a look at just this leg. Let's see what we're dealing with as far as a retracement is concerned. So just on this retracement, that's all we're looking at here. So this impulse move up to this retracement and is beyond a 618. So 618 is, I don't want to say it's like a magic number. It's not. But 618 is a good retracement. You'd like to at least get a 236, 382 retracement. That's healthy. Into the 5 and 618 is still respectable, but it's a pretty deep retracement at 618. You get down to the 786, 886, and you know you're talking about giving back 78%, 88% of this move. I mean, that's not good. But so what do we have? We have our high, we've got a low, we got a lower high, and a higher low. So you failed to make a lower low so far, right? That would at least put you in a, you know, like a little micro downtrend. We can, let's see, we could see this right here. This could be a mechanical. So you take your fib extension. Alright, bring that down to the impulse moves here, and let's set this up for a mech. Alright, so if you're looking at hitting that 2.5, which we did, but you've already traded back down just about to the 0, so that's not gonna fly. That's not gonna fly for a trade right there. You would have wanted to retrace back up, you know, from the 2.5 up to the 5, and you can go back to the 2.5, and then from there you're looking to go long. This has failure written all over it, so we're not even gonna mess with that. All right, so we get that out of there. I guess you got a bit of a trend here, but it looks a little sharp. So let's see. I mean, it's not exactly something that we could do anything with. Right? We've already broken through it, so it's not a whole lot going on there. We have, let's see, with the bottom here and this wick, right? You got a level there. You already got a level from historical data back over here, swinging it over. So at that point, you know, you could say you have a descending triangle, right? Just based off of this. So pull out our little triangle guy, and let's see, I guess you can, yeah, we can come from here, do something like that, give or take, and then we'll have to adjust this up just a little. It'll let us get off the magnet real quick. Move this puppy up, move this puppy up. All right, so you got, you know, your first, which is your drawing, right? Your anchor, your first touch, and then the wick is also down on the bottom. Same thing, first touch. So if you were trading the wedge over here, this triangle, not the wedge. If you're trading this triangle, right, then you're looking for what would be a break for a continuation. So break out of this triangle and continue down. We'll have to keep our eyes on this for Factom. That's all we have right now, at least as far as Factom goes. So there's not too much happening right here. We're just gonna have to we're just gonna have to look at that. Okay, I just had to type something up real quick. Nothing crazy. Everything's good. Let me just double check these little chat dialogue windows here. No, it looks pretty quiet. I think it's just me. Just me talking to myself. And that's okay. It's all right. I'm fine with it. We're building a community, you know what I mean, slowly, one human at a time. Takes a lot of pressure off now. I just talk to myself. All right, what else I got? Oh, Cardano. Charles, what have you done? Let's take a look. Okay, daily chart. Cardano making a couple moves up. Nothing too dramatic. What is this? This is on Binance. All right. Cardano, Bitcoin, Binance. Okay. That works. We take an overall, like a global. We could do, let's come over here. We'll do our fib. Let's do, you know, bottom, top. Of course, I took my magnet off. There we go. Okay, bottom, top. I gotta fix this one down here because that looks like it needs a little help. Yeah, it was close. It was close. I'm going to change this. For myself, I use what I call global up. I make it gray. It's a little bit more tucked in the back, you know, so it's not as aggressive, right? And then this way, when I do my my smaller moves, it's a little bit easier to see. All right, so if I were to do a down right from here, it's almost essentially the same marks because to the bottom. So I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look at relevant levels of interest here. Just very, you know, very simple tops, and we'll just mark a few of them out. I'm not going to go bananas here. Get out of here. But let's mark a few. What I do is I throw this little pen lock on here, little drawing tool lock. This way I don't have to keep getting in and out of it. And I'm not going to do them all the way up top here. Right? I'm just looking for relevant information within this zone, areas that we could be hitting, you know, sooner than later. Okay, so I took a level at the bottom here. This was a nice pivotal point where price reversed. This is more of an impulse, kind of like an ABCD. But it was right after this larger impulse, so a nice ABCD. So I'm going to throw that over here. It also has confluence with this failure, right, to get back up over here, which would have gave us a decent head and shoulders. So that failure is also part of that same mark. So we're keeping that as a level. I don't have to put a level here. We already have one. All right, that's the 886 from the up. So we're good on that. I'm going to keep that level. You know, we can mark what would be considered, I guess, bottom for now. This is a good level, and this is a good level. I'm not 100% sure I need to put that on there just yet. So let's hold off on that. Let's zoom in and get a better idea of what's going on here. Would like to actually mark out where our low was. Obviously, that's important stuff. So yeah, we didn't quite tag it. Let's move that puppy down there. So we're looking at what, 831 sat wise. Coming down, pretty strong move down. All right, good W over here. Failure to make a new high here. Came down, and you made a lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. All right, some chop, another lower low, and then let's see, it's the lower high, right, based off of this, and you failed to make another lower low. We're going to use this little guy here, but basically that's your move right there. All right, so now we have other levels of interest here. This little top out right here, that's going to be more likely resistance that we're going to come across. 886 should be resistance. This level actually is relevant back here as well. Alright, so we'll bring that a little lower. These are the bodies. We'll cut through that wick, which means we basically wicked out on it right now. So this is interesting as far as levels are concerned. For resistance, we're coming up on a couple key spots. So I have to keep our eyes open on this one. This is a good move, though. If we were to pull out, let's say, our ABC on this one, and let's say we did A up to B, down to C, and then up to D. Alright, it's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. So what I do is I take like a, I mean, you can take anything. You're just gonna measure it. Right, so let's just say you measure your high, your low. Right, because we're in log, you know, things change. You drag stuff around. And so let's see what we got here. As far as our bottom is concerned, yeah, look at that. So, right, I don't know why I'm typing this out for myself, but I'll type it out. Right, AB equals CD. So what you're seeing is the distance from A to B equals the distance from C to D, and that's what gives you a good ABCD, a perfect ABCD, which, you know, brings into play some patterns here. So you would need an X, an A, a B, C, and a D, but that's not going to give you much over here, unfortunately. There's nothing really to look at right there. So I'm not worried about that. But the ABCD is good. Or we're going to be hitting resistance over here. If we can make it through that resistance, we already have a little bit of a pullback. Nothing too crazy, but let's say we came over here and we did this. All right, that pullback came down to the 5. All right, now let's take this pullback here. We're gonna move this guy up over here, and let's see where this pullback's at. Pullback's at the 5. Okay. So continuation of this move with this pullback, you would see another move similar. You do have heavy resistance, but we did have resistance right here. You did trade over it, you did close over it, but then you lost it right away. Alright, so a couple key levels in here. So again, we'll have to keep our eye on this and, you know, sort of see where that one goes. I do sort of like a long here, but I don't want a long into resistance. Volume wise, we've got a couple good spikes here. Overall volume trading above average is nice. Let's see, historically, volume hasn't really changed much. We had a lull here with very little volume, but you know, this really isn't bad, so to speak. Especially for the life of the coin. I mean, we got other coins we're gonna look at that are, you know, down in the trenches. Doesn't even look like they have volume. So this, relatively speaking, is really not bad. All right. Yeah. Nice. What's the next chart we're looking at here? We're gonna find out. What do we got? What are you? Oh, here's Ethereum. Okay. Phoenix. Yeah, that's fine. Alright, so Ethereum Phoenix. This is Ethereum dollar, not Ethereum Bitcoin. So Ethereum dollar, Phoenix. We got ourselves, well, this big, massive freaking channel here. It's actually a wedge. This is going back, price back to May. We were in this channel for a little while, respected it, broke down, came back up through it, broke down much harder, but I ended up coming right back to it. Mini break, came to it, respected the channel almost, and then broke down through it again, this time far more aggressive than the last time, and then actually consolidated on it for a little while, traded over, and then actually came off it again. So it's still valid, it's still a relevant relevant channel, so to speak. So we're gonna keep that on there just as gives us some ideas. What do we got? Sort of got a V bottom here, some levels coming through that level here. Respect it as a first touch, right? So you had your high here, failed to make another high, broke through it, made a new high, came back here, retested it, came back up for another new high, and then found rejection at this level, which is, you don't have much going on, not in the, oh, there you go. So here's your low, bit of a pivot point on the way down, right before you're going sideways to a range, and the big dump. So that level came back and smacked us down here for the high. So you'd be looking for support back to this line, which kind of be at the bottom, or you might be able to find support back on this trend line or in this wedge. It hasn't really respected it all that well. I mean, you can see it's kind of dancing all over the place. You know, these few days, yeah, okay, it might have respected it a little bit, but then it blasts right through it. So if it is support, I want to be looking for major support. I want to be betting the house on it. But it does look like this definitely found rejection, and without, you know, coming back to actually test that, and I might have some trouble getting back up there in the short term. Did find support on the 5, okay, for this move, so that's actually pretty nice. This is similar to an ABCD again, same style. It doesn't look like it reached the kind of high it would have needed in order to get there. Give me 1 second. Okay. I feel like I want to do something a little bit more with Ethereum, but yeah, not really. You know, not really. Like, this move down was nice, and then basically the opposite move up. It's good. I guess we can go maybe an inverse head and shoulders. No. At the left, back up, the head, down, back up, the right, over. Let's draw that out. You know, we're sitting here talking to ourselves. Why not? Alright, let's say we went shoulder, back, and I guess that's really the head, right? So for it to be valid, you'd have to actually follow the neckline. So trading would have been all the way up here. Yep. So not quite. Didn't quite make it. It's close, but just not so much. Not so much. Yep. So ETH is waiting for support. You could possibly go short, but it's like. I mean, how short are you really going to go? How far are you going to take that thing? All right. Bitcoin Cash, USD, Coinbase. I don't know what this was all about. Maybe some maintenance. Let's see. daily chart, not giving us too much here. Coinbase, I guess this can't be right. I don't know what's going on here. No. Jeez. Man, that's crazy. What do we got here? 18. Yeah, I mean, we were just so far away from these levels. 7. Oof. Well, you know, ever since the fork, right, charting this just doesn't really even seem to make sense. You know, it's more like you want to kind of chart SV and ABC and sort of see where they're at. All right, let's move on. ETHUSD, we just did ETH. This is the Kraken chart, though. Very similar. Very similar. Big dump. All right, let's see. Brave new coin. All right. What do we got going on here? Let's see. What do we have going on here? All right. This is what I was talking about. Volume being like non-existent. Now, when we zoom in, of course, that'll look a little bit better. All right, so obvious levels, price reversals. Right, this chart looks very well. I mean, it is Bitcoin, but this chart looks very aggressive as far as the overall price action. All right, so this gives us like the overall index, you know, for Bitcoin. So it's nice to look at, but it's like it's nothing to trade off of. But it is a good chart every once in a blue moon. Currently, what do they got us at? 36, 37. So similar to BitMEX, probably lower than Phoenix or Coinbase at the current moment. But this is sort of unnecessary to chart at the moment. So we're gonna keep rolling. What do we got here? Got Zen, Horizon. Okay, so Horizon, looking for entries for a secure node here in between the 10 and 12 zone for sats. So what are we creeping in on? Yeah, so 13's right here. And you got a nice little wick down. 1210. It's goodbye. We had a good move down. Pretty solid as far as price action is concerned. You had a high. You had a lower low. A lower high. A lower low. A lower high. A lower low. So overall, this is still trending, obviously, down. A lot of wicks. I mean, geez. You know, you almost want to just not chart the wicks. Not when they're like this. I mean, that's ridiculous. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These wicks are crazy. Even to the downside, major wick. Right, major wicks down. So I mean, it's brutal. It's brutal. All right, zooming in. Let me see here. Just had a strong move up, a strong move down. Where'd you find rejection at? Right. Body-wise, close-wise, found rejection basically at the bottom of this move before you reversed. Wick-wise, rejection. Let's spin the top. That doesn't make too much sense. So that could have just been, you know, continued momentum of retail traders trying to FOMO in, thinking that this thing was going to get away from them. It started creeping up into that zone. You started seeing more buying and buying, and then finally the sells came in, and all the selling pressure came down and pushed it back. So let's see, is Zen gonna make a new low? That would be the question. In fact, we'd like to see what we have here. I like to just pull it all back. All right, let's see. So from this low point here, it doesn't give us too much to go by. This low here would be too sharp of an angle. All right, so if you were to draw this and just try to get just an overall basic idea of what may be in play. You got a low, confirmation, you know, fourth hit, traded below it on a breakout, traded above it, first touch, now you're trading on it. So I'm going to keep this line, not so much as guidance, but as a identifier of an old trend line that could be coming into play currently. Okay, so when we broke below it, you see that the break was a big break, a huge break. And then we came back up, slow and steady, working our way up, and then a very large candle up through it. And we came right back to it, and then traded on it for a little while. So we'll keep it here as a visual indicator. Nothing too dramatic. As far as trend, I mean, we're in trend, right? We're in a downtrend. You know, expect continuation unless there's reason to think otherwise. So, you know, if you see a reason why this is reversing, go ahead and shout it out. But until then, you know, you got a high, you got a lower low, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, and a lower low. So expect a, you know, lower high. You're just not sure when reversal is going to happen. So let's say you got a lower high, and then expect another lower low. Unless something comes up that changes the course for whatever reason, failure to make a lower high, meaning that price comes up and trades above this high here, then we can start talking. But until then, you've already made a lower low. So until then, you don't have a lot of choices here. Sorry. Which just means that the secure nodes keep getting cheaper. All right. What else we got? What else are we looking at here? Let's do one more. Let's do one more. Who's next? We got Factom again. Well, we're not going to do Factom again, so that obviously doesn't count. See, now this Factom chart, now this is Factom on the US dollar. That's same move, right? This is all the way down to the 76. It's a much bigger retracement US dollar wise. That's okay. I like Factom as a project, and areas to accumulate. Be back on this trend line. 6-something bucks, right? USD $7. It's not bad. Factom did really well when they were, you know, all-time highs for Factom. Pretty substantial for a coin that's trading at $6. Do they have the fundamentals to get all the way back? Well, that's going to depend on market cap and, you know, fresh buyers or, you know, new interest. But they do have a solid idea. They basically want to replace paper. They have deals working with real estate where they're putting those types of contracts on the chain, all, you know, verifiable. Yeah, and that's one of the many things they're doing. So they got a lot going on. Bunch of smart guys over there. So yeah, or you know, we already did that. Knowles, that's where we're gonna finish. We're gonna finish on Knowles. All right, well, here's what it is. Let's see, what does Knowles have to offer? Okay. All right, as far as lows are concerned, wow. Jeez. So if we take our all-time low and we just take a step back from the computer and say, whoa, what am I looking at here? Well, it looks like a triple bottom. You got your first, second, and third. So on the trip, obvious trend here. See how well this is respected. I mean, you hate to cut right through everything, but let's see, you got a portion, you know, of course, this area, and then you broke through. You rode it for a little bit, not long, and then dramatic breakthrough. I'd imagine that this could come into play on the way back up. I think so. Let's go ahead and throw another one of these puppies on over here. Looking for this low and this low. It's going to give us some type of wedge. Yeah, another fall wedge. Alright, so it's fine. You know, it's no big deal. These areas here are going to be pretty interesting relatively soon. That lines up basically where you got topped out over here. Little first touch back over here, that white candle to the right of the bottom. Yeah, so this whole area is of interest. I'll mark this a little bit more. This whole zone into this zone, flipping out that high. You know, I think on this one we'll throw the profile around. And we'll just get an overall idea as far as the entire price action of Knowles is concerned. What are we looking at as far as where did the buying take place? So the largest node, the most price, or the most trading is taking place at this price. And certainly it's not because of this gap right here. It's because of this trading right here. So I don't like doing that because it's sort of based off of, at that point you're like, all right, well, you know, it's from listing. Let's take that out of visible range. Let's go from the all-time high. So the largest node was this area of accumulation before the dump. The dump is a very large gap that I would imagine would be filled. So sometimes you could take something like this and give yourself an idea, just an indication, that's all. Just an area of interest. This is an area where very little trading took place. So imagine on the way up, if you were to break into that zone and very little trading took place, you know, you'd feel safe coming up to this area. It would sort of act like a magnet, right? Because you had so much trading going on there before. You know, you want to get back into that zone. For the people that had orders that didn't get filled, you know, they're going to be waiting, right? So with this wedge coming down, with the bottom support from, you know, price action all the way down at all-time lows, then that gives us a little bit of an indication of what may be happening with Knowles. It would be nice to see if Knowles can actually hold this and not make a new lower low. And if that's the case, then you could start chipping your way back here. But let's see, so with the lows, oh wow, that's actually, it's not perfect, but it's close. Let's see, the low on this candle was 36.39. Low on this candle was 36.73. Close. Very close. So just on the move down. So obviously you got yourself a lower low, got a lower high, a lower low, and a double top. So that's an issue. Alright, this is an issue right here. Double top, push down to the bottom. Alright, so at this point here, you failed to make a new high. Now, although it doesn't seem like it's that much, let me throw that on there. Let's say we range out for quite some time. We get closer and closer and closer to that line. And it doesn't look like much, but it could come into play. I'm going to keep that up there for now. And if it's relevant, we'll find out. It always act as resistance no matter what. So keep that in the back of your head. So now with the failure to make, now you got a low, a higher low, and a lower high, and a lower high. So now price is consolidated. Right here. We're squeezing the price here. So now, with this move here, you're looking for a break, up or down. You actually broke down. And you had a first touch back. So you're expecting continued downward movement. That would be a shame. It'd be a shame if you couldn't hold that bottom. But there's nothing we could do but, look at the chart and decide. Try to make the best calls possible when you're trading, obviously, because you want to take less losses, but you don't want to hop into a trade with just a decent setup. You want to hop into a trade with a really good setup. This just doesn't look like a really good setup. If you're trading anything, like on here for me, if you're trading anything, you're going to short this. I don't know a market where you can short Knowles. So that just means if you had a position, you'd be out of the position, you'd be sold. Let's see. Pretty good volume. A lot of transactions pushing this down. Next day, shifting gears. Tweezer bottom. Lots of buying on the shadows. Very little price action moving here. Volume up at average, just about average volume. So yeah, it's not beautiful. If we're gonna call this a break to the south and then this is a first touch, you're looking for continued downward movement here. So I would hang on to your hats for that one. And I think that's I think what we'll do is we're gonna wrap it up there for tonight. Went through some charts, took a look at a few things. Didn't really have anyone to talk to or answer any questions for, so we're just gonna call it right there. We had some clutch. Yeah, that's always good. So not mad about that. But yeah, we'll wrap that up here and we'll call that a night. Happy trading, everybody, and we got the weekly close later on, so it's 2 in the morning by me, so it's 6 p.m. for me Central Time, so that's good. 16 hours, close out the weekly, and we'll definitely try to hop on for that. All right, that's a wrap. Happy trading.